Hi everybody, how you doing? And welcome to Music Education Video. This is lesson 43, and today we're going to do modes. Apple pie a la mode? Not quite, but it is Greek, so we're going to learn some Greek names and what modes mean. Now, first I'd like to do a little shout out though. Everybody, this is a great channel. It's called Pianote, I think, and it's spelled Pianote. And Pianote, and it's fantastic. It's YouTube and everything else. Huge lessons, really good. So check it out. Okay, guys, thank you. Now, we're going to start with writing our diagram, as we do on our lessons. Okay, guys? Now, you're familiar with these Roman numerals. We did this for our diatonic chords. That means chords within the scale. Okay? Now, here comes the Greek, for real. Okay, guys? Now, number one is Ionian. So spell it. I-O-N-I-A-N. Ionian. And that's the same as a major scale. Okay? Now, number two is Dorian. D-O-R-I-A-N. And I put Miles Davis. I mean, he's the pioneer of the improvisation using Dorian and all that stuff. Okay, number three, Phrygian. All right? How do you spell Phrygian? P-H-R-Y-G-I-A-N, Phrygian. I'm serious. I'm not kidding around these. These are interesting names and interesting scales. Okay, now, number four, Lydian. Lydian's a big deal, plus 11. All right? And we'll talk about that as we go. That's a very important one. They're all important. Lots of jazz and cool pop stuff uses Lydian. All right, Mixolydian. That's your fifth mode. Okay, number six, Aeolian. Now, we've conquered that in relative minor. That's the same as Aeolian. And number seven is Locrian. Okay? So get your spellings right. Locrian is number seven. All right, now a quick review. Let's say it together. Ionian, Dorian, Phrygian, Lydian, Mixolydian, Aeolian, Locrian. Okay, guys? There's your seven modes. And let's start explaining them. Okay, here we go. And to the piano, everybody. Now, a mode is simply put, it's the same scale starting on a different degree of the scale. Now, there's only 7 notes in the major scale, and we have 7 modes. So let's begin with our first one, and we should do a different slide, and let's do that. Let's copy a lot of music now. All right? So very quickly, you can pause, and all I'm doing, guys, is the C major scale here, then I start on D, and I use the same notes. Then I start at E, I use the same notes. But you should write them out, please. We're going to get to know these very well. F, boom, boom, boom. That's in parentheses, because that's the fourth one. 1, 2, 3, 4. And if you were in an F scale, that would be raised, okay? The fourth tone is raised. And we'll talk about that later. Okay, the G one, okay, that's your Mixolydian. And I put a little star here, the sixth one, Aeolian. And then here's your Locrian. All right? And it's the same thing. It's a C major scale starting on B. All right, so let's get that together, and here we go. All right, Ionian. C Ionian. Well, there you have it. That's the C major scale. Okay, D Dorian. And I want you playing along with me. This is the C major scale starting on D. And this one is easy, guys. I'm doing this in the key of C because they're all white notes. Okay, it gets much more difficult when you go to the key of D flat. Okay, if we do that for a moment. Hopefully you've remembered the key of D flat. That's not what this lesson is about. But if you start in the second degree, that's E flat, and you would play the same notes, but that's called Dorian. So you would say E flat Dorian, even though it's really the notes of the D flat major scale. Okay, going back to the C scale, and the third one is E. So you'd say E Phrygian. Okay, play that with me. E, F, G, A, B, C, D, E. And the beauty of these is that you can do them all white notes. Okay, the fourth one. That's Lydian, guys. Okay, let's look at it again, please. All right, that is Lydian. And this is significant because if you were going to compare this to a regular F major scale, it would be a B flat. But you take that flat and you raise it, and that's why they call it a plus 11. Let's talk about that for a moment, guys. Now, if my F scale, I'm going to count like this. Watch. I'm starting down on a low F. Listen. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. I do all that because that's called an extension. Now, you would say 4. You could say 4, yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4, but not so much. Everybody refers to it as a plus 11. Now, and this could be another lesson as well, but if you take your B, okay, and you create a G chord. Now my right hand, I'm playing D, G, B. I just want that B in there. But then I put an F in the bass and you have something fantastic. Listen. Okay, lots of pop songs do that and jazz. All right? So that's a little advanced thing for F Lydian. All right, moving on. No, let's play it. Here we go. We're back to F Lydian. Okay, let's say the notes. F, G, A, B, C, D, E, F. And next is Mixolydian, guys. Okay, we start on a G, we play the C scale. And you use that over dominance, like a G7. And you get fancy blues licks. We'll talk about all that. A is next, and this is Aeolian, guys. And that's as common. I'd say Dorian is probably the most common, but Aeolian's right in there. And last but not least is Locrian. Okay, now, remember how I talked about the tonal center? So any of these scales you're dealing with, this would revolve around C and D and E and F and so forth, guys. All right? You usually have a tonal center when you're dealing with scales. Let's deal a little bit with Dorian, even though we're going to go on to a different lesson that deals only with Dorian. Listen, guys. I'm going to play a D minor chord. Happens to be a D minor 9. My left hand's on a D. My right hand is F, A, C, E. Now, with your right hand, I'm basically playing a combination of the D Dorian scale and the blues scale, and we're going to show you how they all tie together. But this time I'll only do Dorian. Listen. And as you can see, the Doors do that all the time, and everybody, and as well as Latin music and jazz music. So Dorian is super valuable, all right? Now, let's review one more time, guys. Here's our modes, okay? C Ionian, D Dorian, E Phrygian, F Lydian, fantastic, G Mixolydian, A Aeolian, and B Locrian. Okay? Now this is an introduction to modes, guys. We're not going to do all 12 keys. That's a whole study in itself. Okay? And I do encourage you to do that. That's super advanced. Okay? So perhaps way later we can come back to that. Okay, guys, that's our lesson on modes. Thank you, everybody. Music Education Video. See you next time. Bye-bye now.